Hello, my tank gamers, and we have my Tanktivist video, which, if for those of you who are new here, and there seems to be a lot of new subscribers to the channel, new viewers, this is my, well, I stole the idea from Seinfeld. It's my ripoff of Festivus. So, this is where we get to air our complaints and grievances about the game, and I will open the floor to issue any complaints and grievances you have about my channel. Let's say you have some impolite suggestions. Although, please keep it within terms of service. And if you don't know what those are, just think, if it's okay in a PG-13 video, it's okay here. So, good luck to that, trying to form an argument with more than a few monosyllabic words. Anyway, on to this little match here. Well, this match was where I decided to test out a theory I have. The theory being that the smoke really doesn't prevent you from being hit by ATGMs. ATGMs, back when they had their arming distances, well, arming distance enforced, had their accelerations increased. So their top speed was still the same, but they just got to it faster. Well, now that I've put the warning system on, the ATGM warning system on all my Air 2 and Air 3 tanks, I've really noticed that A, ATGMs travel real fast. B, you can't get out of their way, especially if they're just outside the armies. And B, yeah, I shot into the smoke. I literally was like, oh, there's that ADATS. You know what? I've experienced so many ATGMs traveling straight through the smoke and hitting me that, you know what? I'm actually going to just wait for the ADATs to get in the smoke and fire. And wouldn't you know it, I guess they were still close to that smoke wall to where the ATGM could just go right into them, and, you know, I led the shot very well. Sort of impressive, but also sort of frustrating, because smoke is either being deployed too close to the tank, or maybe it's not. They did make some tweaks to it, although this was before. I've noticed this, but since before the major update, to where we've had all the concealment changes, new commander perks, new equipment. Even before that, I was like, ATGMs and smoke, something ain't quite right here. So I would like you to put on the ATGM Tech and Service system on some of your tanks, just to see. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe, you know, especially if you don't hate the ATGMs, okay? I know there's some players that despise us as much as the artillery is despised, but I have a solution for artillery. But that's later. Because, so yes, start testing this out. Maybe we can start issuing some complaints to Wargame. Well, if you think I'm right and you therefore we are correct, and it's because if it's not, then alright. But I would like, as a quick suggestion here, to have the smoke be deployed or launched farther away from the tank. I do feel it is launched way too close to the tank, and I think that might help put actual space for the ATGM to actually start going crazy, because it's now that it's had its connection to its launcher broken, so there's no actual aiming system there. Yeah. And before anyone suggests, oh, well, you know, we have automatic fire extinguishers now, let's have automatic smoke. No. Bad idea, because I've made the mistake, and also I'm assuming other players who have made the mistake of deploying their smoke right in front of my tank, blocking my shot. Something I've been doing really hard to try not to do, being like, listen, I'm scared, I'm going to fall back, but my teammates to the left and right of me, they might be secure in their position and also have a shot. But if I pop smoke, suddenly they're like, well, I was lining up a shot, now I don't have the shot. You have forced us all to be blinded, all because you got scared. I know, the squid attack, it's something that I wish kind of worked a lot more than it doesn't. Yeah, I don't want an automatic smoke launcher. And then that's also as some of your historians were like, well, that's not historically accurate, so therefore we're running up against, well, A, it's not good for the game, and B, it's not historically accurate. That's why I'm just like, can we just deploy the smoke a little bit farther, maybe 10 meters away from the tank? I don't know. Comment down below. Now, I mentioned artillery. Now, you're probably going, momentary genius. This is a Cold War. Well, this is World of Tanks mod number Cold War mode only channel, right? Yes, but I'm a 10-year veteran, which does imply that at some point I did dabble with World War II mode, and also can read chats. The complaints never end about artillery, which means that nerfs, buffs, get rid of them. Well, they're here to stay, but here's the thing, and it comes down to what I don't like about World War II mode. It's the view range. Or not the view range, the viewing system, the detection system. How a tank has to be within the detection range of another tank to become visible. Which, for a lot of light tanks and medium tanks, or even heavy tanks that just happen to take the wrong path, and hey, you found the lion's share of the opposing team. That means you light up the tank, because of radio range, you can relay that to your other team, so they can see that enemy tank, and there, now you have a target. That target backs up, goes a meter outside of that view range, and suddenly they're invisible. Absurd, I know. But if we could tweak that to the artillery view, which is as I like to refer to as the God's Eye view, because they can see the entire map. Not the opposing team until they've been detected, but they can see trees being knocked over, buildings being destroyed, and that sometimes can give them an advantage, or at the very least for relaying information to their team. There's a there's a chance we could have the fog of war, as I'm calling it, being put in place, which means if an artillery player does not have a friendly in the area, then that area is just a foggy mess. Wherever their team goes becomes clearly visible, keeping the whole using the view range of tanks as same as for detection. Sorry, my head's a little loopy right now here, so I'm not sure if I'm communicating this correctly. Again, sorry, I'm sick. 'Tis the season. But I would really think that as a major nerf, or something, because to keep World of Tanks artillery just becoming glorified tank destroyers like they have in the Snails game, just have it so the artillery player can only see what their team sees. They can't see the whole map. I know that really does sound like a band-aid. It kind of is, but it was always really weird to me, like, wow, I can see everything. I can see stuff happening. Kind of weird, especially as there's no drones. It's like, yeah, this also doesn't feel realistic to me. So, what do you think to the couple of buy mode players that I have? I know, go back and forth. What do you think? Artillery, fog of war. Can the graphics engine or whatever this game handle it? And speaking of engines that can handle something I would like to see. You know what? They've told us they don't really work, and we've seen that by the lack of these type of vehicles in the game. But wheeled vehicles, because you know what? Cold War, the wheeled vehicles really took off, and they're still taking off. So it's kind of like, can we get a wheeled premium in maybe Air 2 and just really break the physics engine? Because, at least PC has the British wheeled vehicles and the French. This game only has the French light tank line. Because they were, after that, it was like, yeah, so the physics engine, we built it around tracked vehicles, which have higher friction than wheeled or something, and that's why wheeled vehicles are really hard to handle in this game. They kind of slide, and just, yeah, the early days was apparently really comical, but I would really like to see some wheeled vehicles. I don't know if that's a complaint. I'm complaining because I don't like it. Like, I think that's where the autocannon tanks, which are just on track, kind of maybe could have been delayed if we had some more tracked vehicles. But that's me. Hold on, I need some tea before I get into the last bit of complaining here. Oh, that's not enough. And the last complaint is the new battle stats thing. I feel a lot of information is now crammed off to the sides and bottoms just so we can have a tank. You have all your information, but it's a smaller print. And as everyone here is an adult, we don't feel comfortable reading fine print just because it always implies something is being hidden within. And then also the fact that, yeah, the print in general just made smaller, but it also feels like, well, it's not feels like, yeah, we've gone from 3 screens and now there's 5 screens that are, I know some are excited because, hey, we've gone back to the way it was before 6.0. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think I'd rather see more of information than I would like to see the tank, a picture of the tank I just spent 5 minutes playing. If I wanted to look at my tank, I would do it in the garage. Now, if you took up that space with a battle highlight, a quick 5-second clip of something really funny happen, or all right, maybe. I don't think we could do that. That sounds way too advanced for this game, and kind of personally, I think that's one of those things. Like, that's a change that is, yeah, it's sort of a waste of time. But so I'm gonna keep this short because I'm getting a little woozy here because I'm trying to talk and breathe through my mouth while my nose is just pretty much filled with cement. I'm feeling real chipper. I'm real dandy right now. So, comment down below. What are your complaints and grievances about the game? Again, keep it PG-13. This is YouTube. People can see this. And now governments apparently want to use this to just judge you for your opinions. I don't know. Remember, gotta stay safe out there on the wild, wild web. But also, any impolite, I suppose, suggestions for the channel, I will gladly ignore them. But you can post them. And if you happen to not be able to think of anything to post, but you also realize, but you want to help the channel, help this little community grow, and you know that the algorithm loves it when you like and comment, you can comment with ATGM. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you've made it this far, that's a great little test to see how many of you have made it this far. Well, I'll let this match play through. With that said, I hope you keep your tracks on the ground and RNG's in your favor. And I hope you have safe holidays. Alright? Let's all make it to 2026. Alright? I'll catch you next one. Bye.